This is Vino. Okay, so we've got now Anu and his enslavement of his existence, all the other existences, mankind, earth, dimensions. And he did it appropriately, of course. You've heard about how all the channelings on earth worked, and the psychics, and etc, etc, etc. All of the white light enslavement propaganda. Now, let's return to 2.5 years ago. Now, there were some human beings on Earth. One of this particular human beings, one day, made particular interesting contact with the dimensional existence in a way that it has never been done before. Now, this contact by this particular being was through frequency vibrations. But these frequency vibrations was as herself, as existence in oneness. I'm not speaking channels and psychics of mind consciousness systems making contact as we have explained. No, this was different. And Enki noticed this and informed Anu. He said, we have a problem. There's been unwarranted access made to the dimensions without our consent and overview. All of a sudden, there is no mind consciousness system we're able to see. This being is making access as herself. So, Anu, of course, worried, became scared, because if this were to happen, if this being were to make such specific contact, and beings from the interdimensional existence would actually start speaking what it is that they're experiencing in the dimensions, that have a problem. Because understand that channels and psychics all over the world were controlled. Words manipulated to speak according to what they're programmed to speak, just to not have human beings know the actual truth of what's going on in the dimensions. Oh, intuitives as well. So, Anu devised a plan. He created a circular vacuum around this particular being, having her connection to the interdimensional existence be limited. He limited it. And only had certain specific beings make contact with her, to also only speak specific words. But now these beings had to be very careful, because she could also see them. So they had to specifically present themselves in a certain way, speak specific words. Now they had to do it entirely themselves. They don't have any systems. They have to now fuck with this person themselves, without any preparation. So then, to influence these beings even more, they presented them with the tablets of oneness. Which is also a hoax, of course, because these tablets of oneness contain the code, the code of oneness of this consciousness existence, which Anu, of course, quickly manifested, wrote, and he thought, well, let's use this opportunity in establishing a greater enslavement consciousness upgrade in existence. He became very sharp with that, quickly thinking, devising plans, making sure that everything is controlled here on Earth with human beings within. Now these tablets of oneness integrated and activated into and up to DNA level, placing the mind consciousness system even furthermore into the completely linking now the mind consciousness system with the DNA level as one, so that mankind would become an absolute oneness mind consciousness system machine, not as extensive as it was previously. More extensive than it was previously. So it's not this girl I'm talking about. It was another girl. Okay. So then contact started being made from that perspective, and influence was devised. Then Anu's greatest fear came through. The moment when this girl started getting into the dimensions as the entirety of herself. So, now I'm jumping again 2.5 years ago. The previous girl, she also lives here. Most of the beings who live here is about 7 of them who is able to communicate directly to the dimensions. So this girl was a bit before 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, around there, made her first contact. Then 2.5 years ago, this girl got into the dimensions completely. Now, no one knew about it in the beginning, because she immediately went and accessed the demon dimension. So, the first week or so, she mainly went into the demon dimension, communicating to demons. And she went into the first level dimensional plane. You know, there were many. Anu was, goddammit, way there at the top at some form of heaven institution. So, they just saw her as a being that died. And so she went and she communicated to beings in the dimensions on the first plane level. Introduced herself. So, it was the first plane level, news spread fast. You know, there's a girl in the dimensional existence who's still alive here on Earth. So, curiosity, many beings obviously came and looked. And, you know, they didn't want to believe her. So they would ask her, how'd you die? And she'd say, I didn't die. I just left my body, there's a demon now in my body, speaking to the people on Earth. They said, no. They wanted to, at a stage, take her to some form of place where you go if you've... They believe that sometimes if you cross over, you become delusional, you go crazy, and you don't want to accept that you have died. And she was taken to one of those places, and she just kept saying that she's not dead, they can go and look. So I'll continue with that in the next interview. Thanks.